Basic printing in Sage 100 Contractor. First thing we want to discuss is where do we find reports? Reports are found in most any menu that has reports behind it. So for our accounting reports, we actually have item number 2. And then as we go into the various parts of the program, item number 1 is usually our reports for that particular module. And then if we open up that menu, we'll see all of the things that have been created. And then from within those, there are variations on the reports themselves, and they are numbered. So we find what we need by going through the menus, or another important part of our place to find reports is within screens themselves. So for instance, if I am at a time card menu, wait for that to come up, move over to my screen here, I have reports that are related to time cards. And I can choose the one I need and print it. Pretty simple. So always, when you're on a screen, you'll notice that if there's something to print, we can print using the printer icon. The other thing we might do is run queries. Queries are slightly different than reports. They give us tabular data in kind of an Excel grid. So payroll records by employee, I run the query. I have some criteria that I can use. And here is the payroll records for each employee that are in the system currently. Nice thing about these is I can drill down to records from within the report, find what I need, and move on. We have another whole video on queries, so I won't go too far into that. So we can also create buttons out on our desktop for some of our favorite reports. So let's say I want to run an income statement. I can just double click on that icon. It takes me to the appropriate report and I run. It's as simple as that. So that's where we can find our reports. The next thing is, how do we use the criteria screen? Let's go to the employee list to examine this particular concept. And here's our criteria for employee list. A particular employee, or a particular employee status, or a particular position. And we'll get a list of employees that are in that position, or for a particular state in this particular instance. I can fill in, this is like a from to, because it says between, or equal to, or greater than, or all sorts of stuff that we can use in here. We don't fill in anything, it assumes it wants everything. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If I'm running a report all the time, and I want like say for a particular state, I could put in California, and then save that as a printing default. I could also save that as my favorite report and save it as a default report. So that when I get back in, it is pointing to that report and it has that criteria. All of the printers and number of pages to print and whatnot that are up here are available. We're also looking at reports on a particular drive, in this case Z. Normally we have a copy of Sage on our C drive. We want to certainly change that over to the network drive, because if we have any custom reports, we want to be able to access those, and it's going to look at the drive to figure that out. All we have to do is one time save the default drive. And that'll be the default drive for all of our reports from then on until it's changed later on, if and when. Okay, so that discusses criteria. Next thing we want to talk about is where are we going to output this to? Well, first, the easiest one is I want to preview it on the screen. And here's my report on the screen. If I like what I see, I may actually send it out to the printer from here. Obviously, I can send it out to the printer. And it's going out to my printer as we speak. But it obviously doesn't give me a preview. I may send it to Excel. So I'll do that right now. And there you see a copy of the report out in an Excel spreadsheet. I can massage that however I'd like. Close up Excel and not save the workbook. I can send it to a PDF. I'm not going to demonstrate that at this point. Or I can send it to email, either using Outlook or from within the system. This requires some setup. I have Outlook already set up, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit my Outlook button. And notice that I have an email set to be addressed, and I need a subject in there and maybe some content. But the item itself is there. If I double click on it, this will show you what the recipient is going to see. I'm not going to save that. In a later video, we'll show you what some of these other buttons do here. In the interest of brevity, this is kind of an overview for somebody who hasn't used the printing utility before. We're going to have another video that maybe goes into some more of the advanced features. Thanks for attending.